Gone with the Wind is the biggest movie to come out of Hollywood's golden year, with it still being a topic of hot discussion today, almost 90 years later. Gone with the Wind may be an iconic historical epic, but it wasn't an easy journey to create the movie. Today you're going to learn 10 shocking facts about Gone with the Wind. Remember to like, subscribe, and what is your favorite scene from this movie? Let me know in the comments below. Gone with the Wind has always been surrounded by controversy, mainly due to its depiction of slavery, but this first fact was incredibly controversial for its time. One of the most memorable scenes from Gone with the Wind is at the end, when Rhett Butler says this line,
"Frankly, my dear, I don't give it."
Now in today's age, we wouldn't think anything of Rhett's specific word choice, but in 1939, this was very taboo. It took producer David Selznick months to get this line past the Hays Code. He also had to pay a fine due to the nature of the word. This line is number 1 on the AFI's top 100 movie quotes. This movie was a huge undertaking, with a total of 3 directors being a part of the film's creation. The first director, George Cukor, was replaced 18 days into filming. George was gay, and rumors were Clark Gable didn't want to work with a homosexual director, so Victor Fleming replaced Cukor. Fleming already had The Wizard of Oz under his belt, so his reputation was well known. Unfortunately, he had a nervous breakdown on set, and took a few weeks off. Sam Wood took over the role of director for 24 days, until Fleming came back and wrapped filming. Cukor directed for 18 days, Fleming for 93, and Wood for 24. Talk about a team effort. Gone with the Wind earned recognition due to its storytelling and acting, but also for this historic first-time event. Hattie McDaniel, who played Mamie, won an Oscar for her performance. She was the first black actor to win an Oscar, but due to segregation, she was banned from the premiere. At the Academy Awards, she sat in the back at a segregated table, and the speech she read was written by the studio. There is one actor who stood up for Hattie, and that was Clark Gable. Clark threatened to quit the movie unless the set was desegregated. He and Hattie were very good friends until Hattie's death in 1952. Some say Clark's friendship with Hattie cost him an Oscar. The most expensive scene from this movie was the burning of the Atlanta depot. It cost $25,000, or $470,000 when adjusted for inflation, and caused citywide panic, with many people calling in thinking that MGM Studios was burning down. To save money, old sets were burned that needed to be cleared from the backlot. Sets from King Kong and the Garden of Allah met their fiery doom. This was the first scene to be shot, so it had to be done with 0 mistakes, or the whole movie risked never being made. Gone with the Wind was the most successful movie to come out in 1939, in spite of some fierce competition from The Wizard of Oz and Mr. Smith Goes to Washington. It was nominated for 13 Oscars and took home 8. It is the longest movie in film history to win an award for Best Picture. It also was the first color film to win Best Picture. This movie also was a huge financial success. It brought in $400 million, but when adjusted for inflation, it is actually the highest grossing movie of all time, with an estimated total between $3.5 and $4 billion made. How did they pull that off? Gone with the Wind played in theaters for 4 years, along with multiple re-releases. In short, this movie was a massive theater event, with roughly 60 million tickets being sold during its initial release. This was a movie of epic proportions, and one scene was so big it reached beyond the limits at the time. During the film, there's a scene with thousands of injured Confederate soldiers. Most of these soldiers were played by extras, but some were played by dummies. Producer David Selznick wanted no less than 2,500 extras as wounded soldiers, but the Screen Actors Guild could only offer 1,500, so Selznick had to buy 1,000 dummies in order to get across how epic the suffering was during the Civil War. This film features some of the most well-known actors during the golden age of Hollywood: Clark Gable, Vivien Leigh, and Olivia de Havilland. Each one of these actors developed interesting reputations during the production of this movie. A disgusting reputation Clark Gable became known for was his supposedly bad breath whenever he kissed Vivien Leigh. Vivien thought it was because of his smoking and bad teeth, when in fact Clark would eat garlic before every kissing scene with Vivian. This was confirmed by a technician who worked on the film. Vivien Leigh's role as Scarlett O'Hara is her best known role. Vivian won an Oscar for her performance, but it wasn't easy. She had a few things stacked against her. Mainly, she was a British woman playing a Southern belle, so it took her a while to adopt a Southern accent. She was campaigned against by the United Daughters of the Confederacy, an organization dedicated to preserving the Confederacy, and they were outraged to see an English woman portraying a deep Southern girl. They stopped protesting when they were told the role could go to Katharine Hepburn, because she was a Yankee. Gone with the Wind featured two powerhouse actresses. The first was Vivien Leigh, the second was Olivia de Havilland. Olivia was quite a woman, on and off the set. She was known by many for her wicked sense of humor. She unfortunately didn't win an Oscar for her performance as Melanie, but she achieved something even greater. Olivia lived to the incredible age of 104, passing away in 2020. She became the only living main cast member of Gone with the Wind to celebrate the 70th and 80th anniversaries of this timeless film. And lastly, if you think this movie was long, the book was longer. Gone with the Wind was written by Margaret Mitchell and was published in 1936. This book was a huge success, winning a Pulitzer Prize in 1937, selling millions of copies, and it was the top-selling American novel for 2 consecutive years. Margaret was a very influential author, but her life was cut short due to tragic circumstances. She passed away in 1949 at the age of 48 after succumbing to injuries from being struck by a car. She still lives on as one of the most influential authors of the 20th century. Well, there it is. 10 shocking facts about Gone with the Wind. I hope you learned something new. Remember to like and subscribe so you don't miss out on any upcoming content. See you soon.